Hello and welcome to video number 19. Okay, so I literally left the gym because AMD finally moved how I thought it was going to move. And for those of you who have watched my previous videos or my previous shorts, I have been mentioning AMD like crazy because it was literally sitting at a level of resistance for the last couple of weeks that I'm like, once it breaks through, it's gonna shoot up. Like, that's how AMD moves. And so AMD is not at an all-time high right now. It's actually gone way higher in the past in 2024 and 2023. And so this is another reason why I felt so bullish about this stock, is because I'm like, there is still so much room for it to grow to even touch all-time highs. And so I have been watching this one. I have been dollar cost averaging in my long-term portfolio. And I also did buy a couple of contracts. So I bought a couple of options contracts and I did take profit today because the market has been so volatile, and if you have been watching, you know what I'm talking about. Anytime the president speaks, anytime the Fed speak, anytime there is any type of news, the market will feel it and people will react. And so we have to remember the market is essentially just buyers and sellers trying to, with whatever emotions that they have, decide whether they're going to buy certain stocks or sell certain stocks. And so with AMD, it had been kind of just sitting at a level of resistance, getting smacked back down, sitting at a level of resistance, getting smacked back down, and then finally it broke through a pretty good push this morning. And so I decided to sell my contracts. They were expiring this week anyways. And I've learned over time that you can't be greedy, especially with how volatile this market is. You can't be greedy. Sometimes you will be like, you know what, let me just hold it a little bit longer and see if it keeps going up. But I'm telling you from experience, I've learned the hard way that sometimes when you get greedy and you want to hold on, those same profits that you see in your account can quickly disappear. And if anything, you're losing money and you're letting your contracts expire worthless. So learn from your L's. So make your losses your lessons, and then grow from that and learn to make sure that whenever you see profit, you take profit, especially in this market. I'm big on that. I don't care what anybody else is saying, because the reality is that if you start to get greedy and you don't take your profits when you see your profits, and especially if you have, I will say this, it's not about, oh my gosh, it's a little profit, let me just take it out and that's it. No, you have to have a strategy. You have to stick to that strategy. And once you see that your target profit is hit, take it, because that's what you have been planning for. That has been your strategy. And so there's no reason why you need to continue to hold on to it if it hit exactly the target that you wanted to go for in the first place. If you have additional contracts, so me, for example, there have been a couple of times where I buy a couple of contracts and then I'll do, for example, if I have a target profit and I have 3 contracts, I'll sell 2 of them. So that means I'm securing my profit, I'm making back my money plus more, and then I'll hold one runner. What does one runner mean? That means that one I'm kind of letting in the market. I'm leaving it in the market to see if I can make a little bit more money. But again, I'm not going to let that contract then go to no profit or, to go worthless. So just make sure that if you are setting targets for how much profit you want to take per contract, you're actually taking them and you're not letting your contracts expire worthless. Trust me, I've done that before. I've taken a lot of L's, and so I am being more mindful when it comes to just actually sticking to my strategy and taking profits when I see them. All right, so that is really what I wanted to talk about today. AMD is still a stock that I believe you should have on your watch list. If you don't have it already on your watch list, go ahead and add it, see how it's moving. And I will also say that me personally, I have 2 brokerage accounts. So I have one that is for my long-term investments, which is where I am just buying, holding, dollar cost averaging. And I like that one is where I'm just continuously adding to, and I'm just holding it. I'm not necessarily taking as much profits in there, especially because then you get taxed on your profits. And so that is my long-term portfolio. That is something that I am just continuously adding to. And that one, honestly is doing really well. So I'm happy with that one. My options and anytime I buy contracts is on a complete different brokerage account. And so I actually used to use Robinhood. I stopped using Robinhood because I feel like it became too much of a game. It became a little too easy, and like, I don't know. I got kind of like finger happy and like was like clicking like, oh, I think this one. And I was like, all right, Joss, you need to stick to your strategy. You need to have a little bit more self-control when it comes to putting your money into that, because you're going to take a lot of L's and then you're going to be mad. So after I switched to this other brokerage that I have been using since the beginning of the year, I have seen a lot more profitable trading, and yeah, I'm super happy with how that's going as well. So personally, again, that's how I do it. I like to keep them separate. I like to do my long-term investments in one brokerage and my options contracts in another one. You can do whatever you would like, but what I will say is the most important is building up your watch list, dollar cost averaging, and taking your profits when you see your profits, especially because the market has been so volatile. In other periods of time, maybe even last year, I was a little bit like more lenient with it, and I would be like, yeah, I can hold this another week, yeah, I can hold this, a couple extra days and see if the market will continue to go up. But with how things have been moving, yeah, I'm not risking losing my profits because the president opens his mouth and then all of a sudden the markets tank. So yeah, anyways, super happy with how AMD moved today. I want to know what you all are watching. So if you're watching this video and there are stocks that you think I should put on my watch list, let your girl know. Let me know which ones that are moving really, really well. Another one that's moving really well, and I've mentioned before, is BBAI. So Big Bear AI, huge AI company. It is at around $4 right now per share. So I am not only adding to my portfolio because it is an affordable stock, but also just being a little bit more aggressive when it comes to investing in stocks that are going to take over. So for example, AI is a big topic of discussion right now. It's a trendy topic, and so you do want to be careful, but you also want to make sure that you are doing your research. So Big Bear AI is one that I've been talking about. It's one that is gaining a lot of traction, and again, if you get into certain stocks early on before a huge boom, then that's usually when you'll see your biggest profits. And yeah, I'm excited for the markets to continue to move. I'm excited to continue building out my watch list. So again, if you do have stocks that you've been seeing great returns in, or you think that are worth putting on a watch list, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Peace.